Well, the San Jose Sharks are at home and I guess are having some pre-holiday hangover. I don't know, but we'll talk about this game and maybe a little bit more on the horizon for the Sharks after this. But first, if you want to be a part of the show and join the Chompversation, chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app across all the social media platforms, but more specifically on the YouTube chat, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, Reddit, Discord, and of course, all the shenanigans down at TikTok. Check out all of that and more at tealtownusa.com. And if you want to help support the pod, check us out over at Venmo at tealtownusa. It really helps out the pod. And like I said before, we're just all chipping in that little bit for Puck Guy's new internet. Maybe we can get some Starlink up for him. But anyhow, I'm really pleased to be joined by Miss Dana May. Dana, how are you doing this evening?
I'm all right. Had my last final exam this morning. I thought it would be multiple choice, and it was not. But I answered every question.
Hey,
So
you know what? That's the most important thing,
we'll
right?
see.
I think the most important thing is to definitely answer all the questions on.
Yeah, pro tips for all the other students out there.
Yeah, on the test. Just take it from us here, kids. Go to school. Stay in school. All right. Well, let's get into this game. I know it was kind of
What game?
Yeah, right. It was kind of boring, especially from the Sharks side. But I guess we'll talk about this monstrosity. So in that first period, Anze Kopitar would get his 13th of the season. He would get that on the power play. Kaliev and Fiala would get the assist. That would come at 17:48 in the first period. So that just kind of goes to show you how lackluster that first period was. Shots on goal was 12 in favor of the Kings, the Sharks 5. And again, I mean, I'm going to be continuing to beat this dead cat over and over and over and over and over again. The Sharks offense is missing a lot of pieces. The Sharks offense is non-existent.
The defense is missing even more. That was never there in the first place for the most part.
Yes. But you know what? This is what we thought they were kind of going to be.
This is what we came for.
Exactly. And, they have their moments where, they have some signs of life and have a few games where all the players kind of pull on the same rope. But this is one of those games that you really just look at and go, the better team won, and the better team, is completely stacked. And we'll kind of go through it some more. But, after that first period, the Sharks,
They looked okay. Like, I feel like after the first, I never expected the Sharks to win. Like, before puck drop. Like, so I didn't think they played horribly in the first period. I think they let LA like mess with them emotionally. I saw a lot of like very like, oh, like Hurdle on the bench, whacking his stick, and Ferraro getting revved up like 5 minutes into the game. Like LA's good at just, getting in their heads. Vlasic having this like, oh, like it was just I'm like, are you babies?
It just they're perennial shit disturbers, and that's kind of what they do.
I know. But it's not fun to see.
No. I mean, but here's the thing: the Sharks really need to not only play in a different class, but they also need to hold themselves accountable in a different class. And I just don't think that they don't have that yet. I don't think they have the ability to have the players to do that. I also don't think that there's enough of a cohesive culture in and around the team itself, kind of identity wise. And I think you can definitely see some of the players wondering where they're going to be kind of long term. I think we
Mm-hmm.
see some of the players kind of playing a little bit more tentatively. And I mean, yeah, a guy like Mario Ferraro, he put on some shots on goal tonight, but this is the guy that we talked about being kind of floated around in the rumor mills. There's
Mm-hmm.
some more talk about some other players.
Yeah, I don't know if I even buy the Ferrara rumors. Like, I don't know. Like that, I feel like this has not been his best season. He has had far better seasons. Um, and maybe the Sharks weren't willing to trade him at that point, but now they are. Just kind of makes me sad because we as a fan base were very excited for this player. And I heard a lot of people say, captain material, like, um, it's just he's been down bad. But yeah, as you said, he got some shots on goal. Like, he's always blocking shots. That never changes. Um, so
Yeah, but it's just very difficult to kind of gauge where the team is at when you feel like some of them, some of them aren't going to be kind of for the long term. But
yeah, like they're kind
anyhow,
of mentally somewhere else already. Maybe
yeah,
they have a little vision board with like a map of North America and
yeah. I mean, faulty synapse puts it really good. I mean, the
oh wait, let me look
disjointed
at the
is an
chat.
overall theme. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just disjointed and not a lot of cohesion, between the lines. You can tell that the team is missing some centers. They talked about Logan again today, but I
Mm,
mean, Logan's going to be a shell of himself, and he's talking
yeah.
about
And
what
why
he
rush him? Like,
and they were talking about him even just being able to play again, and I'm starting to think like, wow, I
what the
can't.
hell happened? Like,
Yeah,
where is, I just, it just seems like no one has been able to pinpoint, like, so, okay, here's the thing. I'm about to go on a whole side thing, but,
yeah. Go
um,
take it away,
so,
sister.
sure. For me personally, I take no issue whatsoever with teams not disclosing details of injuries. I don't sports bet. I respect people who do. It's just not something I do. I feel like if you're gonna do any kind of betting, there is always going to be information you're not privy to. You might bet on a player to score a goal, and maybe that player woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You're not going to know that. And I know that in recent decades there's been less of other teams targeting areas where a certain player has been injured, but it still happens. It does. It happened with Carlson. Everyone knew that he couldn't turn around on his right side, and they exploited that. So, like, for me, I really don't care if the team doesn't want to tell us about the injury. But I'm still going to sit here as a fan and be like, what's going on? Like, I kind of want to, I don't know. It is what it is. If they were, gearing up for the playoffs, I would be a lot more concerned. But, um, really, I think, as you said, I just want to know, maybe it's still a decision being made, if he's playing, but like, that's weird because, last season he wasn't, as you said, he wasn't up to, his former self, maybe like 5 years ago, but he was still a serviceable player,
Well, I mean,
definitely. So,
he's one of those Mike Richards types where he played really, really hard and really,
hmm
in front of the net. And, he's always getting fucked up. I mean, whether it was his
hmm
teeth or whether it was his legs
oh God,
or
the
what.
teeth.
Oh my God. I know. But
Oof.
I mean, the kid had, well, he's not a kid anymore. He's a man, but
Right.
he had ever since he was young and he was a young shark, he's just always fearless, you know, and I think he almost played with a reckless abandon that you wonder if he maybe would have just had a little bit of the preserve your own skin gene that Patrick Marleau had. You know, Patty,
Hmm.
I think that was the biggest gripe on a lot of people for Patty, was that you could sometimes tell he would like let up on a check, or he would let up physically. But I don't think that people realize that he was playing 3D chess. You know, that was a longevity type of move for him, where Couture has never played that way. He's always given his heart out
Hmm.
to whenever he's playing. And I think to a certain extent Patty did that in the playoffs, but again, not like Logan did. And I think him and Pavelski had that same thing where they would just walk through glass and yeah, exactly. Just
Somehow Pavelski continues to do that year after year.
I don't know, man. And when his career is all said and done, you know, and I hopefully he'll go into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and especially as an American, and you know, I hope that he has a good life after hockey, and you know, that the health implications of just how hard he played doesn't like come catch up to him, because he faced some really scary injuries. So,
Yeah.
but anyhow, let's get back to the game. Trevor Moore would get his 15th on the season in the second period, and he'd get that pretty quickly in about 4:07. Fiala and Deno would get the assists there. I mean, Kevin Fiala just having a game. Lafayette would end up
Not Lafreniere.
yeah.
I thought
No,
in my
not
mind Lafreniere, but nope.
no, definitely not Lafreniere. I didn't try to make that mistake. Lafreniere would get his fourth of the season. Spence and Kopitar would get the assist there. That coming in a minute and 10 seconds later. I mean that after those, the Sharks just really kind of gave up, and I mean it kind of
Yeah.
bears out in the stats. I mean, in that second period, shots were 11-4 in favor of the Kings. It wasn't very close at all. I mean, the Kings just had territorial possession, and I think, you know, at that point they kind of were checked out, and like you said, some of that mental fragility I think was kind of coming into
Hmm.
play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into another, whole thing speculating on Vlasic because, like, I feel for the guy. He's given almost 20 years to this team, and as a fan base, like, we have soured on him quite a bit. Unfortunately, the stats, it's like um, he wouldn't be in the lineup on another team. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Um, but
No, he might be a seventh.
whatever's going on with him, like, it just doesn't seem mentally there. Like, again, like, I feel for the guy. He's a lifetime Shark, but
I mean, he's like a
it's
seventh
just not
defenseman right now on a good
like,
team.
I don't know. It just kind of it again. This sounds horrible, but like, just like makes me sad when I see him out there and not. It's just the hockey's not hockeying.
He just looks lost. You know,
Yeah.
it's honestly, he just looks disinterested. I think he has not really adapted well to this generation's top skaters. I think, you know, Vlasic has always been an efficient skater, but I don't think he's necessarily been a fast, explosive type
Mhm.
skater. And I think, especially in this generation of young, fast, really run and gun type play, Vlasic has really found himself kind of being an edged out dinosaur. I mean, you kind of think about the era in which Vlasic played. I mean, he was playing. Think of it, at the end of Chris Pronger era,
Hmm.
and seeing, Niedermeyer, seeing, of course, oh my goodness, Nicholas Lidstrom, and seeing that player there. I mean, this is a player that has, seen Shea Weber's career, the up and down of Shea Weber's career. I mean, will eventually be looked at as the Ryan Suter West Coast, a guy who has just
Mm.
had an incredibly long career. Um, and like you said, you just feel for the guy, and it's just a lot of miles on that body for Mark Edward Vlasic. And again, I think that there's some stuff going on, whether it's personal or whether it's injury or long-term injury or what have you. But as a human, you hope for the best for him there first, and then I want to see him, try to recapture something of his career. But right now, he's just an ineffective player, and the game just looks like it has just passed him by.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um. Well. Anyhow, going into that third period, the Sharks would show, more of the same, I guess is the most diplomatic way of saying it. But the ice was even tilted harder. The shot total would be 16-6 in favor of the Kings, but Trevor Lewis would get a short-handed goal on an empty net, basically when the Sharks had the goaltender pulled on a power play with 3 minutes left in the game. Jacob McDonald would get a power play goal on that same power play, however, and get the score 4-1. And little late and not enough effort, and kind of close the book on that one, 4-1. And of course, the Sharks just continue to have issues playing at home, continue to have issues playing on the road, continue to have issues with generating offense. And me and you, Dana, have done some pretty gruesome games. This isn't gruesome, but this is just guys showing up to do a job at this point. And I don't think that there's a lot of focused effort right now. Um,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
yeah,
I will say I think Kakkonen played admirably considering what the Kings threw at him. I think it could have been uglier. Um, and I appreciate seeing that. It makes me angry that the Sharks couldn't generate more to back up, Kakkonen's effort. I guess he ended up with like a 917, which I would have thought it was lower, but and I still would have said that I thought like he played decently well. Like LA is just it nauseates me to say this as a NorCal girly, but like they're just they're at the peak. Oh my God, what am I trying to say? They are a very good team.
yeah, and
They
and I
are
think
just
and
again, but
they've handled their rebuild on the fly better than the Sharks
hardly been
have.
a rebuild. They missed the playoffs for like what, like 3 years, and then they're just back. I mean, they got the number two overall a few years ago.
But they
But
knew when to pivot, right? Like they knew
yeah.
when to, they knew to keep only two of the real big assets, being Kopitar and Doughty, and saying, look, you guys are going to have a reduced role if you're going to have,
Mm,
the up and coming kids coming kind of putting around them. The kids have now started to blossom, and they've also
hmm.
done some really shrewd moves in free agency and in trades. So, I mean, LA has really done this suck for 3 years and kind of just pull out of the ashes pretty quickly. And the
Yeah. Has
shark,
Rob Blake won GM of the year and at all? He probably should sometime soon.
I mean, I think that the team right now, as it's composed, for LA, I mean, they have a legit shot at. I would say at Western Conference Finals. I really
Hmm.
do believe that. I think, it's still going to be maybe 1 year until they get the next critical mass piece to really put them over the edge. But, I think them and Vegas are classes of the West. Um, and I think the Kings have really put themselves in the driver's seat as far as owning the Pacific or trying to co-own the Pacific with Vegas for a long time to come because of just how well they've done to rebuild and restock the farm so quickly.
Yeah. And I would like to point out I saw Anze Kopitar wearing a what's it called, like a neck guard or something. So I don't want to hear anyone say like, "Oh, it doesn't make me play as well." He is on fire, you know?
Oh yeah, and
And this doesn't get in
Kopi's
his way. So I'm not going to judge anyone's personal choice, but I'm just going to say I'm shocked that there was all this buzz about players being interested in this, but at the end of the day there's this weird sort of fragile masculinity of like protection physically.
yeah.
I
No, I mean I didn't even
That's
notice
a
it.
whole other topic, but
Yeah, I mean like I didn't even notice it tonight to be 100% honest with you. And if it doesn't affect the way in which he plays, I'm all for more protection. Like they they've got a little piece of vulcanized rubber speeding around at their heads and
Mhm.
around their necks, and it's going between 80 to 100 miles an hour, and they've got knives as sharp as Ginsu blades on the bottom of their feet, and they're traveling upwards of 30 miles an hour. Like, I'm all for more protection, especially in this sport. And I don't think it should be something that's chastised among players. I think, if anything, you're protecting yourself for your future and your family's future. And um, I hope more players take heed of that. I think, and I hope more players, um, really try to step up their game that way. Insofar as protecting themselves. I mean, what if Pavs had been wearing some type of like head protector, and prevented himself from having to get those staples in his
We would
head?
have lost game 7.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Oh, it's game 7. No, but you're right. You're right. Like it really pains me to, again, whole other enchilada of a topic, but as a lifelong hockey fan, there is this like inner conflict about like, I know how much being a professional athlete and hockey being top of the list of these sports that can ruin your body like for the rest of your life, in many different ways. So, I mean, I think things are improving. Like, dude, like in the 50s, guys were like smoking on the bench between shifts. Like, we've made progress. And guys are more like health conscious and that kind of thing. Like, obviously, like, helmets are mandated. Like, that was not a thing for a while. But anyway, my point is, I am really glad to see players like Kopitar, setting that example and showing that you can still be a player at the top of your game with just this extra little thing on your neck, and that it's something that everyone should highly consider, I think.
Yeah, and for people asking, it's yes, the helmet is there to do this, but I'm talking about like within like the like a sleeve that you can put on top of your head, like a balaclava, or like a do rag, but it's got reinforced fibers, so it can try to repel skate blades or foreign objects, piercing the helmet. So Yeah, I mean, I'm all for player safety, especially where it makes sense. And something like that I think makes sense as far as the neck guard goes. Um, and I wouldn't even. I mean, look, I know there'd be a big uproar about full cages and all that, but I mean, full cages don't bother me. So
Yeah, me either. I mean, I was a figure skater back in the day, but I've never been a hockey player, so I can't say what does or doesn't affect playing ability. But I think neck guards are a start.
yeah,
So,
yeah. All right, Dana.
anywho,
Well, I mean, that was kind of pretty much the end of the game, and again,
yeah,
the Sharks would lose 4-1. Kind of a snoozer, to be
yeah.
perfectly frank. Again, you looked at Kakkonen and a decent game. 917 save percentage. Probably didn't have any post-its, right?
No.
Actually, they updated it. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, guys. I've dropped the ball on the post-its this year. Sometimes I just don't have them handy, or I'm just like, what do I write other than other team scored,
Yeah,
you know, this
exactly.
player looked frustrated.
Sorry, let me update this banner. It's 35 of 38. See what happens when you rely upon NHL stats and they don't always auto
Mm.
update. So he had a 921 save percentage tonight. And
See, like, okay, I get it. Someone in the chat said like the second goal was not not it. I agree. I do agree. But I think overall, he put in, you know what I mean? Like comparatively to the rest of the team, the effort was there, which is all I can ask
right.
for. Yeah.
So and again, it's just you look at the amount of offense driven by the Sharks. I mean, they've updated it and said they've given them 16 shots, but 16 shots, really, that's all you can muster at home?
Oh my God. And I felt like it gave me physical pain to hear the crowd chanting beat LA because I get it. I went to a game versus LA last year and it didn't go well, but we were still chanting beat LA because it's like that's in our blood. Like if we have nothing else, we have the beat LA chant, even if we know they're not going to beat LA on that given night. But again, it gave me physical pain, you know. Like I remember when that chant meant something, when those teams were both highly competitive. So I hope there is a time sometime soon when they, I mean, I don't want LA to be good, but that rivalry is a tale as old as time, or a tale as old as 1991. Um so yeah, but I can't say again, as we have great things to say about the way the Kings have constructed their team.
Yeah.
Um and they did a great job getting under the Shark skin. So
Yep.
yeah.
And I think we'll kind of end it there.
Yeah.
So
Oh wait, can I show my holiday sweater?
oh yeah, no, I was just gonna
Okay.
about to
So
say.
I know, right, I know holiday sweater night is Thursday, but I'm not going to be on that show. And I love my holiday sweaters, so I did want to like, get up in the garb. So anyway, here's my sweater today. Oh no, it went blurry.
There
Okay.
you
Good. Yeah, my birthday boy.
go.
Woo! My husband pointed out, wait, why does Jesus only have one candle? Didn't he live to be like 30? I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, happy holiday sweater night in advance to everybody. One of my friends is going to the game on Thursday and it's his first ever Sharks game. So like, please, Sharks, there's nothing more sacred to us than the holiday sweater. It's in our blood. Like, please show up, make the effort. Please. I'm begging you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in case you missed it and you want to catch us again, check us out across all of the podcasting platforms of choice, that being the Apple Podcast Store, the Google Play Store, and of course, the YouTube Rewind. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you can get notified after every Sharks game, and we go live. Of course, we've got the Pucknologists on Sunday at 7. And special welcome back to AJ. AJ, thank you so much for getting back in the driver's seat and gracing the digital airwaves with your presence. We missed you, and so happy that you've recovered enough to hop back on board. And again, we just continue to wish you the best, and continue to monitor your health and wear an Apple Watch if you don't already, because those things save lives, and I've got mine on because we've got bad hearts in my family too. So definitely, for sure, good to see you back, and happy to have you back, buddy. Okay, so getting back to it, of course, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, the Odyssey app, and then, of course, always at tealtownusa.com. And Dana, I'd love to know where the people can find you, and what your final thoughts are for the evening.
Yeah, so you can find me at Dana Meyy on X or Twitter or whatever it's called these days, and also Instagram. And my final thoughts are happy, what am I trying to say? Merry Christmas in advance to those who celebrate. Happy Kwanzaa, retroactively Happy Hanukkah. I had a good Hanukkah. It was fun. We made homemade latkes. And Happy New Year, and whatever other holidays are out there that I just can't think of off the top of my head. Hope everyone has a good holiday season. Stay healthy. Be nice to people. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dana. And as far as where you can find me, you can use my first name, that's Erik, last name Landi, across all the social media garbage. And as far as my final thoughts go, well, I'd love to see the Sharks put some consistent efforts on home ice, just consistent efforts just overall. I think we are getting this wave of inconsistency where sometimes we'll get a Sharks team that's got a lot of effort. Sometimes we'll get a team in which it's not a lot of focused effort. So again, let's just try to make some good habits and continue to grow and make a good environment for the kids to kind of come up and show their wares, and again, kind of move the needle forward for the team. So anyhow, for all of us at Teal Town USA, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real, Teal. Happy holidays, and we will see you after the next game. And have a great evening, everybody.